Hey folks, welcome to our next session of Soul Talk. I'm really excited because today I have my friend and colleague from one of the college campuses where I work, Cheryl Callon, with us in the house today. Thank you, Cheryl, for coming out. I really appreciate it. And I'm so excited to talk about our topic for today. So before we get into that, let's just jump right into the nitty-gritty of our conversation. Tell us how you got started with dance.
Well, thanks for having me on. And I started dancing when I was 4 years old, taking the ballet and tap combo classes that all the little girls do. Mm-hmm. And kind of started doing that for a while. I was in color guard in high school, and that's where I learned modern dance.
Nice.
So then it became
Wait, you guys learned modern and color guard?
Yes, at where I was, we did.
Really cool. That's awesome.
And so I kind of fell in love with that movement style and became a dance major in college, and then got my BFA and MFA and moved up to Dallas and started working.
Nice. And so what does your dance career, your dance life look like now?
Like many artists, I have my hands and fingers and toes and lots of different things.
And everything, yeah.
Right. So I've been a dance professor in various places since 2008. And I also got my yoga certification last year. And so I've been teaching yoga and got into teaching bar fitness. And I'm also starting working with a dance company here in the fall. And I've also been doing dance writing for the last 5 years, being a dance critic for a local website.
Right. Ding. And that is our topic for today, basically. We are discussing, different ways to stay employed as a dancer. And I think it's really interesting to talk about dance writing because I don't think a lot of people know that exists. I don't think they know what it is. So can you tell us exactly what that means? I know you mentioned just a little bit, you go and write for, you write reviews on shows, but what exactly does that entail?
Well, it means going to shows, of course, and writing a review over it. And then I also do sometimes interviews. I'll go and cover different performing arts events that are different from your traditional concerts. So it's about keeping the dance world in focus and in the forefront. It's journalistic writing, so it's a little bit different than something you would do in academic circles.
Okay.
So it's news about the arts and about what's going on.
I think that's great because a lot of people, or one of the discussions that we have in grad school or had in grad school was how dance is seen in academia or how dance is seen in the world abroad, and not a lot of dancers are writing, and there's not a lot of writing about dance, and we embody our lives, right? We move through everything and we don't really write it down. We're probably one of the only art forms that doesn't have a lot of written, you know what I mean? And everything is passed on from body to body. So I think it's great. And I think that there should be more dance writers, you know what I mean? So we can be taken as seriously, you know what I mean, as the other art forms. So did you always intend to become a dance writer?
No, this gig actually fell into my lap.
Okay.
I always knew I wanted to write. Ever since I was a little girl, that was one of my childhood dreams, was to become an author. But, at the time I figured it would be fiction writing because I was reading a lot of fiction books. And then when I got into academia, and I think this is kind of the mindset that a lot of grad students have, is everything that you're doing is staying in academia.
Right.
And this gig actually, like I said, fell into my lap when I was teaching at one of the colleges. A friend and colleague at the time was the dance critic for a local magazine. And she got me in touch with a gentleman named Mark Lowry, who started a website called theaterjones.com.
Very great site.
And it was made to fill in the gap of performing arts coverage, because a lot of newspapers, this is just a nationwide trend, are cutting sections. I mean, print media is in decline. We kind of all know that. Mm-hmm. And the first thing to be cut are the arts sections. Mm-hmm. So he created this website to cover all the performing arts in the North Texas area. So this would be classical music, opera, comedy, theater, and dance. And so in 2010, I got an email from Mark Lowry, said, hey, here's my website, check it out. Would you want to write for us? And this was on a Friday morning, and I looked at it and I was like, hey, this actually sounds kind of cool. Yeah, sure. And he wrote me back, well, can you do something tonight? Okay.
Right.
I literally kind of fell into my lap. So this just goes to show, like, your connections in the dance world.
Absolutely.
You never know where they're going to go. And so I reviewed my first show that night, and 5.5 years later, like I said, I've been doing I've done dance concerts, I've reviewed musicals, theater shows, I've conducted interviews and feature stories. I've covered award shows, competitions, auditions, and it's just led me in so many different directions that I couldn't imagine.
I think that is really, really cool. An awesome opportunity to have to go see these great shows. And I'm glad you mentioned connections, because that's something that we actually talk a lot about on The Working Dancer is, staying connected to your community, because those connections lead to the opportunities. We don't always find our jobs and opportunities online. We can't just go to a search engine and find our jobs all the time. And a lot of the times, most of the times, 80, 90% of the time, it's a friend that says, hey, are you interested? So I think it's great that you mentioned that. So what are some of your favorite parts of your job as a dance writer?
Seeing dance shows.
Mm-hmm.
As a dancer and as a professor, it's so important to stay up in your field and stay current. And so to be able to go see a dance concert potentially every single weekend, maybe even a few in a weekend, and not just see it, but you talk about community, and the arts are meant to be done in community. Mm-hmm. And so, I get the opportunity to take my friends to dance concerts with me. I get to see other dancers and other artists and other writers at these concerts. We talk, we have conversations about the arts. We're keeping each other involved, and we're having this community. And, as artists, we're so busy that, seeing dance shows and being around the community of artists has become my social life. Nice. Social life. So that's a nice thing. I really do love the writing part. I mean, you have to love the writing to do it, because that's the nitty-gritty part. I mean, you can't just go see a show and be like, oh, they were so awesome. Look at their extensions. There's more to it. And as difficult as it is to get that first sentence started, it really is very fulfilling, because I feel like I'm providing something valuable to the arts community.
Nice. I think that's great. I think we should talk about that a little bit more. Like, it's more than just saying this is awesome, but hold that thought. So then, how can someone become a dance writer? What would someone do? Let's say there's a young dancer and maybe they love performing, but they also, like you, have a knack for reading and writing, and this maybe sounds like a good fit for them. How would they get started? What would they do?
Right. Just write. A lot of dance writers around the country that I know, they just started their own blog, and it's free to do that. So starting your own blog, writing opinion articles about dance. If you go see a dance concert with somebody, write up a little review, and it's so easy to publish yourself. Right. And that's a way that a lot of them get started. And if you're actually looking for a place to do that, where they are commissioning you, then, do some research, seek out either print or online publications in your area. Ask the editor if you can submit a sample piece of work. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like auditioning in a sense. You just kind of have to put yourself out there. But I say having a reliable source, so blogging, if you're consistently blogging, then that shows an editor or somebody head up a publication that you've committed to this. Right. And you have that history.
I think that's awesome. And blogs are everywhere. There are like billions of blogs. I have a blog. There are tons of them. So if you enjoy writing, I think that's a great tip, a great place to get started. So can you just really quickly, I don't want to because you're giving us a little content right soon on the blog. So I don't want to steal the meat and potatoes of your article there, but can you just tell us like a snippet of what else are you writing about? So not just this was awesome, but what specifically, what's the angle or voice of an article for as a critic?
Right. It's kind of interesting because dance criticism has changed so much, and I'll kind of delve into that in my article, because the content of the article has changed as well, especially with social media and video. Our publication specifically likes to go into context, not just what they did, not just providing a record, although that is incredibly important, but how does this piece of work, how does this concert fit into the dance scene of, we're in North Texas, how does it fit into the dance scene? If I've seen a company over a few years and I've seen the same dancers, how has this dancer grown?
Okay.
I want to be supportive. I want to point out the good things, but we want to hold, as critics in general, not just me, we want to hold the arts world accountable, because we want to strive for excellence.
Right.
And so, again, pointing out some supportive things, but also pointing out things, from our point of view, and providing that context. How does this fit into not just the North Texas dance scene? How does it fit into the historical body of dance and artwork that we have?
Wow. I didn't even know that. I think that's really, really cool, and a lot of pressure. Like,
it doesn't always happen in every review. Okay. We don't want you to read a book about but dance criticism fulfills so many different roles.
Okay. Wow. It makes it sound so, what's the word? It's just, it puts it in a different level for me, a different area, a different importance, a different value. I don't know what I'm trying to articulate, but I know what I'm feeling. So I'll just think about it and get back to you on my thoughts. But let's get real for a second, right? Dun, dun, dun. Does your dance writing fully support you financially? Or, like most dancers, is it a plethora of things that, pays your bills?
Right. It's difficult, I think, especially with the decline of print media. I don't know of really too many dance writers in the country who are making their living solely dance writing. I could be wrong, but no, this is a very small portion of what I do as an artist. It does not pay well at all, but it has a purpose. It's personally fulfilling for me. Like, it's one of the most fulfilling jobs I've ever had.
Okay.
And it's also led me in other places. So, working with different companies or leading me into a different realm that would be paid has been nice. So that in itself doesn't pay, but the rewards are worth beyond the dollar amount that I get.
Right. And like you said, as far as connections are concerned, you said it's probably opened doors for you to get other work. You meet tons of people, so you're growing your network, and your network always equals larger network equals larger dollars, in my opinion. Not that you're using the people around you, but just by association, by those relationships, you have more opportunities available to you than if people didn't know who you were or what you did, right? Wouldn't you say?
Of course.
So what are some other ways, movement-wise? I don't think I plan to ask you this, but I think it's helpful for people to know, how else are you able to pay your bills with like movement, dance-related work?
Well, education. So being a dance professor, that has really paid off. I've gotten little gigs at different studios, just substitute teaching in there, and then being a dancer kind of led me into yoga. And I know a lot of dancers will go into different types of body work. So they'll go in like Pilates or yoga, or I've gotten into bar fitness as well. And so that has been able to help supplement. And then I've also, through my dance writing, I've gotten involved with a dance company where I'm able to start. That's starting up soon, but there are a lot of potential opportunities for training and choreography and some artistic stuff as well.
I love that, because that is the meat and potatoes of, dance life. Life as a dancer. I don't think it always has to be that way. And there's exceptions to every rule. People do different things, but the majority of us do wear a couple of different hats, right? So we choreograph or we teach. Some people get money performing, writing. There are people that work lights and sound for, shows. You have to be flexible, but I think that it's probably one of the most exciting things, because you get to use a lot of your interests and a lot of your passions. It's not just one thing. It's not just dance, but, the other things that we're good at, we get to incorporate that into dance, which I think is a perk. It's a plus for me. I get bored. I wouldn't want to be doing the same thing all day, every day. So it's a cool way to stay fresh, I guess. Okay, so you mentioned yoga and all of that kind of stuff. So how can viewers learn more about you or get in touch with you or connect?
Lots of different ways, because my career kind of goes into different directions.
Okay.
You can find me online through the different colleges I work at. Theaterjones.com.
Okay.
And that's the website that I write for. I've done well over 100 reviews as well as articles and things.
Wow.
So, look me up on there. And then through my writing gig, I'm on Twitter and Instagram under Cheryl Callon, just all one word.
Okay.
And you can see, I'll post my reviews there. And then also if I go to events, like cast parties or other arts events, I'll post my pictures there. So that's kind of my writing side. If you want to see my yoga side, I have a business called Gentle Lion Yoga.
Nice.
You can visit the website, gentlelionyoga.com. And if you want to see my Instagram stuff with yoga, a little bit of dance too. Lion Yoga TX on Instagram.
Nice. And we will make sure you guys have access to all of this information. And we will definitely be having Cheryl back, because she'll be writing something on the workingdancer.com blog. So I'm going to put all of Cheryl's information in the description below the video, and then you'll have tons of access to her. I'll post up all of her social media profiles in this video as well, and then in the blog as well. So thanks so much, Cheryl, for telling us about the life of a dance writer. I'm really, really just grateful to have, friends like you who are doing different things in the dance world and are willing to share, what they're doing and how they're doing it, so that the generation to come can learn and take notes. So thanks for joining us on Thanks for joining us on Soul Talk, and we'll see you next time. Happy dancing, folks.